Okay, so who are we missing so far? Hank ain't here. I ain't here. No, you're here. Oh, DD hasn't created a character yet.
Yeah.
Right. Right, everybody here?
Well, most of us.
Yes.
Well, the people who are in the chat, are they here?
Yes.
So Zig, you there?
Guess that's a
Nope.
no.
I'm gonna need to write down everybody's name on a piece of paper.
Just
Guys, I'm just
use the in-game names, dude.
I cannot pronounce half of those.
What do you mean? You can't even pronounce it.
hey.
Alright.
Anything that isn't in Afrikaans, I have difficulty with.
Just so you know, guys, after I finish my chili, I might need to go for like a minute to do a cold shower because this thing is fucking hot. Sweating like a pig.
Fair enough.
Right.
Eating chili in Israel in the middle of the summer is not a good idea. Not ever do it.
That's good. That's good. Stupid.
Oh yeah. But it's so good for it's worth it.
It's so good. It's worth it. There is a bizarre statement.
The chili is so good. It's worth overheating.
I think I prefer a curry.
No, I'm talking about chili con carne, not the spice. Spicy beans with meat. Basically.
Don't mind me just pacing around nervously.
Pacing around nervously. That's token. If that's pacing, I must get some serious ass exercise.
You and me both.
Right, we'll get started while everybody's stuffing their faces or wandering around.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no point in waiting. Right, I am going to railroad this slightly to start with, just so we can get this going.
Yeah, you can just speak about the beginning and when
Right.
we'll start. But
You have been volunteered by a gentleman as you were on the road, and you have been heading for 3 days in the direction of a town called Hyde. You are just about to arrive there. There is a man called Sergeant. That is the only word you've heard any of the other people speak. There are about 10 of them. HYDE, the same thing.
okay.
The only thing you know about this place is it is a lumber mill town, so logging is their primary business. You are sitting in the back of a wagon. You may speak to one another. What would you like to do?
Also, Bowman, that's good DMing right there.
I have to say this
My
journey is
character's
kind
currently
of.
asleep in the back of the wagon.
I have to say this journey is kind of taxing. 3 days
Okay.
already.
Okay, so we've got a taxing, a sleeping stonecutter.
Hmm.
Is he there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
You doing anything in the back of the wagon?
I'm looking out for the nearest tavern.
I'm
Right.
reading and magic stuff, wizard stuff.
Okay, so nothing particularly interesting happening in the wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we'll skip a little forward. You have arrived at the city. However, the gate of the city, it is a walled city. The gate appears to have been taken off its hinges, and there is a giant hammer sticking out of one of the walls. The guards have immediately rushed into the town, leaving you by yourselves. What would you like to do?
I take one look at the armor, at the smashed door and everything, and I'm like, well, fuck.
Well, looks like we're not the
Huh?
only ones here.
What?
Okay, so we have an opinion of fuck.
Yeah.
Mm,
I mean,
I
something
get-
broke down the door and had a big ass armor. I bet there's a big ass thing there.
Oh, are we here?
Are we there yet?
Can I have a look at the hammer?
You can indeed. What would you like to know about
Oh
it?
god, dwarves
The
and their
size of it,
hammers.
first of all. How big is it
How big is it?
compared to, like, I'm carrying a hammer as well, a dwarf hammer. And
It would be about the same size as you are.
can
Okay.
I check whether it's
Dwarves with
about
their
the same
hammer.
size as me?
It appears to be a large piece of stone with a stick jammed through it and then tied to it with leather strapping of some sort. However, it looks very crude, and the reason it's probably left behind is because the handle has snapped.
Okay.
It's not dwarven, mate. Then it's crap, really.
Doing a bit more investigation, trying to get find anything, cultural or something like a symbol. Or...
There is nothing on the hammer other than it is very rough stone and a little bit of blood.
Okay.
I will touch the hammer.
It feels like wood.
Could I do a history check to see if I've seen anything like this in the past, or have any previous knowledge of it?
Go for it. Roll something.
Roger, Roger. History.
Okay, so that's why I need to do a history check. Yeah, should that history check.
Oh no.
It just looks like a hammer.
Well,
You have
that's
you
fairly
you have
big.
seen hammers like this before, but you can't quite remember where.
Where is there?
I'll walk up and like knock against the stone.
By the way, guys, I'm not in the thing yet.
That's fine. We're not doing anything in there.
Okay.
It appears to be granite as you tap on it.
Mhm.
It is very heavy.
It is
Depends.
right. It is this size.
I'd like to rush off to see where the guards have gone as well.
Okay,
After-
so you are going inside the gate.
Yep.
You can see that there's a road going to your left and right, and there is a lot of blood.
Oh god.
I follow
What?
him.
But you have not seen a body yet.
Oh, that's interesting. You know
Okay.
what? Can show me my big
Which
hammer.
direction do you want to go?
I first of all would like to take a look at the ground. Is there anything like flattened grass, footsteps?
There's
maybe
lots
maybe
of tracks
dragging
coming in and out.
maybe drag marks, as if bodies were dragged across the ground.
There are no drag marks, but there are lots of footprints.
Okay.
How big?
Some of them are vastly big.
Hill
2 or 3
giant?
feet. You would
Starting to
need to
sound
make
like a hill giant, but I don't know any hill giant that will take corpses and eat them.
Which direction has the most blood on the ground?
to the right.
Right.
I'd say we go left.
Oh! Ekin!
Stop guessing.
What are you? What are you?
No, I'm trying to figure out what kind of animal will do those kind of things, and so far the only two is Etin and maybe hill giant.
What are you talking about?
He's trying to guess what monster it is.
Yeah,
Well, I don't really have a whole lot of knowledge about monsters, I
I'm
guess.
saying it's something along that size of giant kin.
So what do you know about Giantkin? My character's asking yours.
The big.
Don't know much. I know that if it's a hill giant, and it's probably not, it might be very hungry, it's really stupid, and he would like to find somewhere he can eat, drink, and yeah, scratch his ass.
Buildings around us, are there any larger than like chapels or
So
castle.
in front of you, there's lots of little houses.
Mm.
To the right, you can see what looks like some sort of fortification. To the left, you can see what looks like some sort of crafting area, possibly some sort of large building. Further forward, behind the houses, you can see what appears to be a much larger structure. You're not really sure what it is, but it looks more grand and built up than the rest of the buildings in front of you.
Fortification would probably be best to go to now, considering that it looks like it was under attack.
Can I ask a quick question?
Mhm.
Can we actually hear anything? Hear any scuffles or?
It is dead quiet, other than the soldiers you can hear moving off to the right.
Okay.
Right, I think.
Basically, you can
probably-
hear you can hear their armor as they run.
Shall we
I
head
follow the
towards the
rest.
soldiers? Or?
Is there? You said that this was a logging camp, right?
Yes.
Is there like a spinning saw or something along those lines? Anyway.
Oh,
Cannot see one.
Okay.
splat, no bodies.
So
I'd like to either head towards the fort of the soldiers. Any other?
I would
votes?
say go towards where the soldiers are.
I mean, I
So
guess the soldiers should make it a little bit safer for us.
yeah, but also we want to see what they're seeing.
Okay, onwards to the soldiers, I guess.
Okay, so you are going down the road. There is still plenty of blood, but as you get close to the fortifications, you can see the doors have also been ripped clean off their hinges, and there are now bodies.
And no bodies.
There are also one or two limbs that don't seem to be attached to their body anymore.
Can I
What,
have a
like
look at
human
one of the
limbs
bodies
or?
Yes, you can.
and see what's caused it? Whether they've actually been.
Right, it looks like it's been hit by a blade of some sort. However, it doesn't look like it was
Oh.
particularly sharp.
Huh. Blade and hammer.
And the bodies are human, I take it.
They're mostly human. There's one or two elves amongst them and one or two dwarves.
Okay. Guys,
There's probably about 15 bodies or so.
guys, can you wait just a second so I can just go wash myself real quick, like half a second, and come back? I'm
Run for it.
fucking hot.
I wish to cast Mage Hand and
Wait.
get one of the limbs delivered to me.
How the fuck do you have mage hand?
He starts with it.
Is that not a wizard spell?
It's a
He's got
cantrip.
it as a warlock, but it is a wizard spell.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So you have
Give me one
collected.
second.
You have collected what appears to be somebody's eye or foot.
What, a foot?
Yeah.
Foot.
Yeah, from about the knee down. So
Okay.
you've got like a big leg.
Shin and
Yeah.
ugh.
It is wearing a boot, but there you have it. Now, what
are you doing?
I'm going to take the boot off it and carry that boot around with me. Although
My
I'm
character looks
I'm
concerned.
going to drop the.
Okay. You have a nice, reasonably worn leather boot. I'm gonna note that down because that's
I'm
weird.
no longer sure I like this person. I'd like to stealthily head up to the doors and take a peek inside.
Okay, how are you stealthing?
Just sticking to the side of the road, following the buildings round towards the fortification, and then just trying to sneak up to the doors and just peek inside without alerting anybody that is inside of my presence.
Okay, that's fine. You are stealthed. As you peek around the corner, you can see the soldiers that have brought you here. They seem to be talking to probably 25 or more other soldiers. They look like they have literally been through hell. They're covered in blood. Their weapons are covered in blood. They are exhausted in appearance. They are having a conversation. They are too far for you to hear anything, but they are speaking to the gentleman called Sergeant.
Okay, I'm back.
Is too far within 30 feet distance.
They
Oh.
are probably between 40 and 70
Okay.
feet.
It's only Maxwell sees that, does he?
Sorry for that. What did I miss?
Currently, Maxwell's the only one who snuck up.
I'm going to try and sneak up behind him and see what he sees. Yeah.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. You don't need to roll the stealth check.
Can I just relate to him what I've seen?
Yeah, you can do that too.
Okay. I'll whisper to you about the guards talking to what looks like a higher up, and some other worn soldiers or guardsmen.
I say we go ahead and see what's going on.
Wait, so we are not using the foundry today, right? Just
Sorry?
we are not using the foundry today, right? Just a character sheet.
We are just
No,
not
for
right
this
now.
section.
Foundry is open, but currently I am only using Foundry for combat. The rest of it will be in your heads and me
Okay.
taking notes on this end.
Okay. First of all, what happened in the minute that I wasn't here? And
Okay, Maxwell, just tell him what's happened.
I've crept up to the doors that have been ripped off their hinges ahead of us, and stealthily peered through. There are a number of guards that look like they've been through a bit of a battle, are higher up, and the guards that we came in with are now talking to them.
okay.
They're too far away to hear their conversation.
So what's
I wish to shout, "Get over here!"
Who are you screaming this at?
Just, I'm not stealth after him. I'm just like 70 or so feet away and just shouting, "Get over here!"
Okay, so you're shouting at the guards.
Yeah.
Okay. They turn and look at you, and then just ignore your existence and turn back to their conversation.
Okay, I guess they are not hostile. I say to the
What
others.
the hell are you doing?
Checking.
You are no longer stealth.
I know, because he's given away my position, like a fool.
Okay.
How much combat experience do you have?
Level 1, nothing.
I go there,
Okay.
go to the guards, and ask them what the hell is going on here.
Okay, so you want to talk to the guards.
Yeah.
So you are going to what? Explain to me what you're going to do. You have 10 guards with their backs to you, and you have 25 more staring at you. What exactly is your approach here?
I just go there, and when I have everybody's attention. If I turn around, I say, I don't know if you know this, but we're new here. What the fuck is going on?
Okay. The sergeant will ignore you, but one of his men will turn around and basically give you the eye. At which point he will tell you to watch your fucking language, or he's going to put a sword in your gut.
Well, I tell him that's one good example to tell me to watch my fucking language. Fucking. What the are you doing there?
Could I, like, not attempt to grapple, but just attempt to touch you on the arm and just say, look, I think they're having a discussion. Maybe we just wait for them to finish and possibly overhear what they're saying.
Did you
Okay,
say,
so you've
But you're
sorry, Stone.
did you say we come in with some of the guards as well? So
So
would we recognise
yes,
one or two of them?
Yeah.
the guards with their backs to you currently, you would recognize them from the 2 or 3 days trip. None of them have spoken to you. They've just been kind of eyeing you up the whole time. You have been volunteered, so basically you're here as cannon fodder.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to stand and try to overhear what the sergeant is saying to the rest of the guards.
Okay.
Wait.
I'm still in the back, kind of keeping away.
Okay. Vol, what? So you've basically walked up to them and started shouting at them. Stone is where?
I'm behind Maxwell, and Maxwell was filling me in. We were sneaking up.
Okay, so Maxwell has gone into the gates, and he's try to stop Vol from
Getting
pissing
stabbed.
pissing the guards off.
Um,
Have you followed him in, or are you still standing at the gate?
Okay.
I'm gonna follow him in, but see if I recognise
Um,
any of the
while
guards there.
while he starts walking, I'll telepathically whisper to him, "This does not seem smart. Better stay
Well,
back."
I will answer. Well, they don't seem smart either.
You don't even hear this, goddammit.
You didn't say
No.
who you were whispering to.
Yeah, I thought you said it to me.
No, to Ovid while he started
Oh,
moving.
okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
we have two people who are standing fairly close to the guards, one slightly further back, and Harold, who is right back, still at the gate, so he's about 70 feet away.
Okay.
The guards are having a conversation with the sergeant. They are trying to describe what has happened. He is trying to find out where the civilians are because he hasn't seen any. To which they reply, most of the men are injured or wounded, while the women and children have been hidden. He's not being very specific about it. He is basically saying that they have been ambushed 3 times in the last 2 months.
By what?
This is the first assault that they've had. They don't really know what these things are. All they know is they're particularly large. They're not particularly smart, and sticking the pointy end in them generally kills them.
Okay. I asked them what kind of color did they have? What did they look like? How tall were they? Do they have any notable features on them?
So the guard tilts his head, looks past the soldier that is standing in front of you, and he just doesn't ignore you, but he's kind of curious at why you're trying to talk to him while he's having a conversation with a superior officer.
Well,
I'm gonna walk away. I don't know this man.
no, I look straight in the eye. Can I see that he's looking kind of curious?
Yes, he's
Okay,
he's looking at you. Do you remember you've got the superior officer who has dragged you here, right?
Yeah.
He is now having a conversation with his subordinates, and you are trying to interrupt them.
Okay. I just casually walk towards them and just stand there listening and just go nodding and just, okay.
Okay, fine.
And trying to see what, like, just without asking, just joining the conversation without having saying a thing.
Right. So they're going to continue, and they're going to give a brief debrief. Is that the right word?
Yes, a
Yeah.
rundown of what has happened.
A rundown of what has happened. Yes. So 6 or so hours ago, the doors got blasted off the hinges at the crack of dawn. The soldiers on duty at the time were drunk out of their mind and proceeded to get, well, smashed. The mess that you saw at the door was mostly them.
Okay.
The attackers then split off into either direction and proceeded to grab anybody they could find. However, they weren't particularly careful with grabbing people. Most of them did not make it out alive. They managed to hold them back once they reached the center of the town. And after 15 to 20 minutes, they backed out and left.
Okay.
The damage to the mill is obstentious. It's unlikely that it will function for quite a while. As you can see, the doors to our barracks are going to need some work. The town center is a fucking bloody massacre. And the tavern has been smashed to bits.
Well, dwarf,
Okay.
looks like you aren't getting any ale here.
Yeah.
To
Okay.
which the sergeant has asked, has anybody tracked
Does anybody want?
has anybody tracked down where these things have come from?
Okay. They done talking? And like
Um,
also my character I said, are you all done talking? Can I
You can butt in if you like.
And yeah, like I'm trying to like raise my hand and be like, if you're all done talking, can I just?
Right. The sergeant looks at you, and he asks, "What the fuck do you want?"
I just look at him and I'm like, oh, another great example of the law. And
Right.
then right after,
Okay.
change my tone completely
If
to like,
did you actually state what a great example of the law?
no, I'm just saying another example, great example of the law.
Okay.
What you buddies. And then
Every one of the soldiers.
immediately after, before
Hang on.
wait, you didn't let me finish.
If
Okay.
you've got to the point where you said another example of the law, every single one of the soldiers is going to grab the hilt of their sword.
Well, and then I'm going to say, well, things are getting a bit heated here. Maybe we should step away.
I reply and I got this.
I'm leaving.
I got this. Then
I'm.
We better get out.
immediately I changed my tone. Immediately, like I was a bit before. Now I'm completely like into it and what's going on, and I want to help. And I'm like, just like someone with multiple personas.
Okay. Okay.
And-
Split personality.
And I go like, okay, what are those things? What color are they? How big are they? And you said attackers. Them? How many?
They aren't particularly interested in answering your questions. However, the sergeant points at one of the guards, and the guard proceeds to answer the questions. Let's see. So, how many? They were between 5 and 8. They aren't particularly sure because generally, if you saw them all in one place, you ended up dead.
Okay.
What color were they? A brownish, tannish color, he guesses.
Brownish, tannish color. Okay, that's not.
How big were they? They were big.
Okay.
That's his statement.
No, I asked how many heads did you see on each and every one of them, if any of you saw.
Heads.
Head. Yeah.
The guard looks at you like you're nuts. One.
Okay. So I just look at the rest and say, okay, it's not an 18. We can all. They're not 18s. It's all good.
The guards all look at one another and they're like, "Etten? What the fuck's an Etten?"
Yeah. Figured.
Okay. Anybody else want to ask anything?
I'm going to ask do I see any injuries? If I can see.
There are lots of injuries among the soldiers. Most of them have got bandages wrapped over their armor to stop bleeding.
So they've already been sought after, looked after.
Well, they've done a job while they've.
Okay.
I'm going to ask the sergeant, can I assist with some of the injuries?
He waves you into the soldiers, and you can go ahead if you want to.
Yeah.
I'm finally going to walk up to the crowd now as well and ask, you did hire us here as soldiers, right? Are we perhaps supposed to do anything special?
The sergeant turns around and looks at you and says, "Hired? I think not. You
Okay,
were volunteered by the Empire."
Oh, so now there's an empire. Okay. Now I know who to hate.
He moves his armor, and you can see on his chest he is wearing Imperial issued armor. To wear this stuff means he's come from the capital, and he is significantly important.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Was he the one that was looking at me curiously earlier?
Yes, he basically thinks you're a talkative nut job.
Okay. And now I need to prove to him that I am a talkative nut job that can actually do shit.
That may be difficult.
Hey, you just wait and see. Wizard.
Okay, so Stone is helping the soldiers. Maxwell is standing around listening.
I left.
You left.
Yeah.
Like right out the gate?
No, after, he wouldn't stop asking questions. I'm like, nope, I don't know this man, I'm leaving.
Okay, how far
That's
have
what my
you gone?
character's like.
I'd like to go out of the gates and investigate the area outside the barracks.
Okay,
further.
so do you so outside the barracks you've got 3 routes you can take.
Mhm.
You can go back towards the gate where you came from.
Mhm.
You can go down a further stretch of buildings where there's quite a few houses, but you can see a large structure at the end of it.
Large
And you can
structure.
and on the last path there is a lot of blood and it's heading to what appears to be the town square.
I'd like to head towards the large structure and investigate that.
Okay. So basically you're going to tread down what appears to just be a housing
Uh,
road. It's
Again, can I do it stealthily along the side of the road?
yes, you can. There's nobody looking around, so nobody is going to spot you.
Okay.
You're going to get all the way to the structure, and it is a mess as well.
Oh,
Walls are being cracked open. There is blood everywhere, and you can see now this is a sawmill.
right. Okay.
There are lots of cut lumber. There's lots of saws, pieces of timber to be processed, but there is a lot of blood. Lots of the blades have appear to have been stolen, because you can't find any of the bigger ones. The smaller ones are there, but the bigger ones you know that should be there aren't.
Right. Okay. Can I look for any kind of tracks and stuff that they may have caused being taken away? Um, if not, then that provides other information, I guess.
Right. So there are footprints. They are fairly big, 2 or 3
Mhm.
meters, 2 or 3 feet big. They're definitely barefoot. They basically plod around the area and then tread back to the gate where they came from.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll go back to Hedril. You're now standing behind the guards. You doing anything?
I'll just sit down on the ground.
You're gonna
Okay.
sit on the ground.
Yeah, maybe
Um,
maybe
oh.
maybe seek like some sort of porch or something to sit on.
Guys, just
there
one
there
moment. I just realized I'm missing like 4 of my spells.
It's
And
fine. Just add them to your sheet.
yeah, I just need to find them now. I'm pretty sure one of them could help us now.
Right.
Where
It's a standard barracks. So you are currently standing in an area where they would train. So there's benches on the side if you want to sit on one of them.
Yeah, that sounds good enough.
Okay. So Vol, you're checking your spells to see what you can do there. We'll skip you for the minute. We'll come back to you in a minute. Stone, you're helping the soldiers. You bandaging them up or what?
Yeah, I've got one, and I'm cursing about the way a bandage was put on, and I'm cursing. And then putting it on and saying it needs to be cleaned. You need to get it. And he's got a bit of a nasty cut on his arm.
The soldier just looks at you with a nod. Unfortunately, he's not a medic. His training in how to fix a bandage is to rapid stop the bleeding. So he's pulled off his chainmail armor, and it's lying at his feet. It's a mess. It's going to be needed to be clean. It's just blood soaked. You are now working on him as you are.
Yeah.
Do you want to help? You're obviously helping more than one.
Yeah, I've got 1 or 2 near me.
Okay. You want to use any spells, or you're just using standard bandages
No, I'm
and
just
water?
using standard bandages. I'm not gonna.
Okay. Vol, we'll come back to you now. What are you doing?
Yeah, 1 second. Can you just send me the link to the foundry? Because my spells also written there. I want to see them. Copy them back here.
Doop.
Where's that link? Where's that link to the foundry?
Hang on,
I can send it
I'll
to you as
paste
well.
it.
Hmm.
It's not always going to be necessarily the same. I don't know how often they change my IP.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's the IP one. What do you mean? I need damn it. PC one. Join game session. Wait, do I need to choose the same one all the time?
Yeah, the same one every time. Hang on, I've got somebody at the door.
Ah, shit. Yeah. That was 4. Login. Oh, it won't be a common thing that Those. Okay. I don't think detect magic will be right?
Detect magic.
Yeah.
It's up to you if you want to cast it or not, but do you want to cast it as a ritual or as a spell?
It's a thing. I'm trying to think if it will be useful. It doesn't seem like they're magical.
Alright,
things.
sorry, Sky at the door. I'm putting up a
okay.
satellite dish.
Can
Oh.
I try and do detect magic and try and see any magical trace or something on anything that has to do with the attackers, the hammers, the doors, the footprints?
Let me double check that spell. I'm pretty sure.
I think I can cast it
10
as a ritual.
minutes. 10 minutes.
No, it's the 30 feet thing that I care about.
Yeah. So it's a
Right.
30-foot spear.
You are going to get a little bit of magic, but nothing extreme. It's mostly appears to be coming off the swords and knives and boots that the soldiers are wearing.
Okay. And nothing from the hammer, the door, the
No.
Okay.
I'm going to stand up
So, yeah.
and walk up to Vol. What are you doing there?
I'm trying to figure out if those things might be serving any magical being that might have given them something magical, but it appears not. Means these things were either catering the people for food, or somebody just wanted to kidnap a whole lot of people and did it with really stupid creatures.
Sounds strange.
So
Okay. Back to Maxwell. You're still standing in the middle.
I wanted to follow the tracks out of the gates, just so I know a rough direction that they were heading in, and then if I get anything from that, I'd like to go back and report to the soldiers that information.
and
So you head back to the gate. You can see that the footprints go along the path and then veer off and disappear into the wood, into the tree line.
I'll just give them the direction that they're disappearing off into.
I'm not going to give you a north, east, southwest.
Yeah, that's
because
fine.
You don't know which direction is north, and neither do I.
Yeah.
I need the
So
monk from
I just
anyway.
want to go back and give that information to the sergeant and the soldiers.
Okay, so you've come back to the barracks. You've walked up to the soldiers and you've given them the information. The sergeant he looks happy, considering
What's
Vol.
happened? Yeah, and that.
He looks at the soldiers around him, realizes most of them aren't in good condition. He turns to one of the soldiers next to him, gives him a brief whisper to the ear, at which point 4 or 5 of the soldiers get up and walk out of the barracks. And he turns to you and he says, "You interested in earning some gold?"
Gold being of help. Yes, definitely. Sir.
Okay. He nods. He looks at the rest of you who are hanging about. Interested in gold, he asks.
I sure am.
I look over to him and nod my head.
Okay, so we've
I'm
got...
just curious and want to see what's going on here.
Okay, so you're not interested in gold, but you're curious.
Yeah,
So-
I'll take the gold, but
Okay, right. So he nods. He goes, "Give us a minute. We're going to need to sort this out. Why don't you have a look around the rest of the town?"
alright.
Yes, sir. I'll report back with any information I find.
Excellent.
I wish to go towards the ruins of the tavern.
Okay, so you are going to head out the barracks, down a road into what appears to be the town square, and it is a fucking massacre. It just looks like a bloody mess. All the buildings have some damage to them. The cobblestones look like some of them have been cracked. You're going to see the tavern to your right, and you're going to veer off towards it. Basically,
Is it-
looks like somebody has taken a hammer to the front of the building and it has collapsed in forwards.
Okay.
So the roof is visible to you and you are looking at it.
Okay. I wish to scrounge through the ruins to see if I can maybe find a entrance to a cellar of sorts.
Okay.
Should I do
These are some.
an investigation check or?
Uh,
It sounds like there's a
No,
lot of
no.
rubble in the way.
There's a
but-
lot of rubble. This is going to take you a while, so you are
Okay.
going to be sitting doing
Okay.
rubble duty for a minute.
I
Vol, what
use
are you doing?
Mage Hand for that, by the way.
What am I doing?
You're going to use Mage Hand. Wait, how
To
much
clear-
Mage hand
to
can
clear
only
it
lift
out.
like 10, like
That's 10
not
pounds.
a lot,
No,
Yeah,
like
that's
10 pounds or something.
Yeah,
you
Mage
can
Hand
move
does it.
some of the smaller stones,
Yeah.
so you're like literally picking up like
Pebbles.
the pebbles and moving them from one side to the other.
Exactly.
But yeah, okay, you are clearing rubble. Okay, Vol, what are you doing?
I'm going around trying to investigate and try to find anything that will pique my interest, any little detail.
Right. So you've headed to the town square as well.
Yeah, I'm walking around the town basically.
Okay, you're gonna have to give me a direction in which you're walking. Because
Okay.
basically you are inside a walled city.
Yeah. So I'm in this. We're all in the town square, right?
Okay, you're in the town square. You can see. You are standing in the middle of the town square. If you circle around you, there are quite a few residents still here. However, you can see a fairly lavish-looking one further up the hill.
Okay.
In the town square is a well-looking building. It looks like it's definitely probably owned by the government because it's that kind of style. It just looks better than everything around it. But it's got no glass in the windows anymore. It's all been smashed. The door is off its hinges. It looks like something has tried to get through the door, but it was obviously too large to get through it. So it's done some damage to the building. There is a lot of blood in the center of the town. A couple of boots, a knife, a dagger, maybe a spear or two. You can also see a temple. You're not sure who it belongs to. And what looks like some sort of crafting venue.
Mm-hmm. I go to that house that you said in the first, that government-looking building.
So the government. So that's the town hall, right? So you are
Yeah.
going to go into the town hall.
Okay.
Stone, what are we doing?
I'm on about my third soldier now, and I've
Okay.
been talking to them about what actually happened and trying to get out of them what did something provoke it, and trying to get a bit more description of
Okay.
who they were.
So, right. So the guards have been very forthcoming. You bandaging them up they are very, very pleased and happy to have your help. From the descriptions that you've got, they looked somewhere between a man and a monster. They weren't really sure what it was. It was big, and it was stupid. They managed to spear a couple of them, but it didn't seem to put it down. They didn't look like orcs, and they know what orcs look like. It,
What about provocation? What actually provoked it? Do they know how it actually
they don't
started?
know, but there's been a number of attacks and ambushes for traders coming in, traders going out, anyone who's on the road. So they're assuming it's some sort of wandering monster band, but there seems to be at least 8 of them that they can guess. None of them were heavily armored. Mostly they just took shots and then shrugged them off. Weapons generally ranged from big stone clubs to logs. Nothing very creative.
All right then.
Huh.
Well, he's basically my last one, so I'm gonna.
What
I
did you
see
say?
I'm heading towards the town centre, so
Okay.
I'm gonna head towards the town centre as well.
Right. So
If I see any other injuries or anything like that.
okay. What was that, Vol?
What did he say his color was? Their color was?
Tannish, sort of green tannish.
Green tannish. It's all starting to sound like trolls.
They're not sure.
We don't
Yeah.
know at the moment.
like rather than
Actual.
trolls, the only thing I can think about is hill giants, but hill giants go alone mostly.
I'll follow the group until I get to the centre of town, like everybody else,
Okay.
and then I'd like to go search the church, or the temple-esque looking building, whatever.
Okay, so you're going to head towards the
Maybe.
temple.
Yes.
Right. Right. Standard road up to the temple. The houses are starting to look more expensive and more lavish as you get towards the temple.
Hmm.
Temple is a large stone structure. It has a single archway, no door on the hinges. Walking into the temple, it is nothing more than a large hall, and at the end of the hall is a altar with a large tree on it.
Okay.
From the look of it, hang on, what class were you?
Fighter.
Fighter, right? It's a large tree. You can't see any blood.
Oh,
There-
you look at it!
There's no bodies around, but it's very quiet. It's unnervingly quiet.
Hmm. Nobody's around. Blood?
No blood.
No blood either. Okay. Is it intact though? Is the building intact?
The building is intact. There is no damage to the building.
Okay. I'd definitely like to look around inside and around the outskirts of the building.
Okay. So you're going to circle around the outside of the building.
Yeah, I'll do that first and then head in.
Okay. So you're going to get near the rear left-hand side of the building,
Mhm.
and you're going to find what looks like the big wooden covers to a cellar door.
Oh yes, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
I like to knock on the doors first.
And
it-
someone will knock back.
Awesome. I didn't ask the sergeant's name. Damn it. I've come from the barracks. The guards are wounded but alive. Would you like me to go and inform them of your location, or are you willing to follow me back to them? The
Okay.
battle is over for the time.
You will hear a muffled voice from behind it. Can you open the lid? We can't push it open from this side.
Very well, I will try.
Okay.
Is it like locked or anything, or is it just?
No, it's just a really big wooden hinge door. Give me a strength check.
God damn it. Strength athletics or just strength?
Just strength.
I just have to roll a d20 then.
D20 plus your modifier.
Yep. D20 plus. Because equals +1. That's not.
So
What? What the hell happened to that?
Slash R,
So-
not question mark R.
if
D20
it's-
plus 1.
It's yeah.
17. There you go.
okay, you manage to pull the doors open, and a waft of stale air comes out, followed by several priests and priestesses dressed in what appears to be their night robes.
Oh. I kind of, I guess, look away from them. Is everybody decent?
Everybody's decent. They're just in what would be classified as nightwear. They're not wearing what
Okay.
you would walk around in the day with.
Okay. Follow me, I'll lead the way. I'd like to take them through the least bloody paths that I've come across, and not, like, freak them out too much.
Well, and unfortunately, you're going to have to go back to the town center because that's the only route you know.
Oh,
so
okay.
far.
If it has to be done, it has to be done. Lead
Okay,
them that
so
way, then.
you are leading the small party of priests back with you.
Mhm.